Good morning out there, traders, and welcome to the Apteros DMI. It is March 12th, 2024, and let's dive into our recap. So, a pretty quick recap for us yesterday. We had two lines in the sand, essentially both bullish in nature, with scenario one being a hold of that upper line in the sand zone. And that's really all we needed yesterday. We ended up seeing a nice pullback into the open here, into our line in the sand. Got a great inflection coming out of there. Good sign that the bulls were taking over contextually, and that was our main opportunity to get long. We got a second chance here if you didn't get in on the first try, with the acceptance picture definitely playing out to the upside here, with two really nice inflections for us to get involved. And then it was pretty much just sit on your hands till you got to the first target area, and that pretty much closed out the session. And that was it. Just a pretty simple, straightforward move from line in the sand to first neutral target, and that was it for that particular session. Then you can see in the overnight session here, we started to kind of move up towards our main target area, but that's something we could cover for our session plan today. So now taking a look at what we have going on, I did roll over the ES, so we're looking at the M contracts now. Kind of similar situation what we had yesterday, where we have a couple of lines in the sand. The upper one is the more bullish scenario, with scenario one being a hold of that area, coming up into the first neutral target, and then a possible move up into here. And that would really be the main move for scenario one. With CPI coming out in a little bit, we possibly could see some higher upside if that does play out. So we have some neutral references above to pay attention to, depending on how the market reacts to CPI. So if we get a really bullish reaction out of this, this is our main target right here. But then, of course, we have some upper neutral possibilities as well. And we would just literally be using acceptance above and continuations with those neutral levels. If we get scenario two, which would be a breakdown of this upper line in the sand, it is a scalping level opportunity to the downside for sure. Our lower time frames would be shifting against the overall condition here, and we'd have a chance to at least scalp into this neutral level here. Once we get to this neutral level, that neutral level is kind of a touchy zone where we have some decent confluence down there, very similar to what we had going on yesterday in terms of a bullish area. And if we stabilize in here and come out of it, that area can become bullish pretty quickly. So definitely something to watch out for with that neutral zone. But if we continue to break it down, we head down into our lower line in the sand there. And at our lower line in the sand is where we end up seeing kind of the last bit of information for the bulls. If we get down into the lower line in the sand, this would be really the main higher time frame context of what we're seeing in this market overall. Talked about it a little bit yesterday, talking about it again today. This line in the sand would have two scenarios where we'd have scenario three being a hold of that zone, heading up into first a neutral zone, and then possible continuation here, and heading up into our main target area there. If we get scenario four, which would be a full breakdown of all of our bullish ideas, all of our bullish context we've been seeing for the last couple of months, it's kind of wide open space to the downside here, heading into the first neutral reference here at the 5105. And then if it got really, really bearish, we would pretty much just be looking for a traversal down into this 5082 area. And that would be the end of the road for what I'd be expecting out of a stretch target for the bears. Main target would be this first one here. That would be kind of where I'd be expecting a bearish move to go to. But after that, you have to see a pretty strong bearish market to be all the way down here. Talking almost 120 points worth of bearishness. So I do give you guys the full plan for even crazy scenarios today, but it's just an idea of what can happen depending on how volatility shakes out and so forth. But this is really our main trading area for the session today that we're paying attention to. Our main options really are scenario one going bullish, scenario two possibly coming down, first target into that neutral zone, and then a possible continuation if it's really bearish in there. But once you're at this neutral zone, you got to pay attention because the acceptance picture could change and the bullishness could really take over from that neutral zone, similar to what we saw yesterday. All right, trade well out there, mind your process, and mind your risk.